And good afternoon, everyone. This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. My name is Jim, and this is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network. This is a directed network, and I am net control. If at any time during this net should an emergency arise, please notify net control, and we'll stand by and allow those in need to access this frequency. Is there any priority or emergency traffic at this time? And hearing nothing, we will continue. This net is all about ham radio and being all that you can be. That's what our Qso-Vlog network is all about, trying to help people achieve the best sounding station possible. Thanks for dropping by. FYI, my background is 50 years in commercial broadcasting, where a lot of big bucks are spent on audio processing equipment and getting it set up correctly to get the loudest, best sounding station possible. Well, long story short, when I became a ham radio operator, I could hear immediately a large discrepancy in on-air technical proficiency. A lot of stations were running with very poor mic equalization, very muddy, with little articulation. And as I continued to work stations, I realized most of the stations were also running very low average peak modulation, many around 30% of average peak modulation. So with my background, I felt I could help, or at least try. I knew that most modern-day ham transceivers did have enough onboard processing equipment to be able to overcome most all of the problems. And so I started the Qso-Vlog network with the phrase, if you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout. And you can access these recordings by going to YouTube and doing a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook. That's Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, followed by the word logbook. And we also have a new series called KC9VKV Highlights. That's Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, followed by the word highlights on a YouTube search. These are some of our less technical and more human nature philosophical kinds of QSOs. That's KC9VKV Highlights on a YouTube search. Both KC9VKV Logbook and KC9VKV Highlights are segments of our main YouTube homepage of Jim's Radio Story, where we celebrate a 50-year career in commercial broadcasting, a 50-year journey from a 5-watt pirate radio station as a 12-year-old to production director of a major 50,000-watt AM broadcast facility. And the thing that makes this truly a unique story is that I have the actual audio masters from all along the way. Over 2,600 shows, including many full-length major music concerts and radio documentaries. You'll have to check it out and subscribe. Jim's Radio Story on a YouTube search. Our mission statement for the Qso-Vlog network is to establish a higher technical level of radio transmissions of the human voice by the intelligent utilization of available electronics and current amateur radio transceivers. Our setup, while generic in nature, converts the average 10 dB dynamic range transmitter with an average 30% of peak modulation to a much fuller 3 dB dynamic range with an average 80 to 85% of peak modulation. This substantial boost in audio transmit level is extremely beneficial in high noise levels and heavy QRM. It allows you to punch through when others fail. The second part of our transmitter setup has to do with proper mic equalization. We're looking to optimize the transmitted voice for a higher degree of intelligibility through the use of EQ patterns that bring out the articulation aspects of the human voice. Again, why need to hear the voice if you can't understand the words? Also this afternoon on the receive side, we're running 4 Internet SDR receivers, monitoring New York, Pennsylvania, Georgia, and Virginia, trying to get the best copy from our 100-watt friends. Now the audio from these 4 SDR receivers comes up on a 6-position rotary selector. Also on the selector is our local receiver audio. And today, our local receiver is running 3 large 10-foot vertical magnetic loop antennas, one aimed at 0 degrees, one aimed at 90 degrees, and the number 3 is aimed at 134 degrees. These are run as a directional scanner array with a manual voting system 6-position rotary selector. Also today, on the transmit side, we'll be running our no SWR specially oriented resonant dipole antenna. One leg of this resonant dipole runs broadside to Montreal, Canada. The other leg runs broadside to Miami, Florida. As we were constructing our station, our mantra was 20 over from Montreal to Miami with a hotspot through the Carolinas. And although conditions may vary, the general performance of this antenna supports its mission. Also today, we'll be running our input source indicator. So when we switch from an internet SDR receiver to our local receiver, you'll be able to hear the switch and see the switch. You'll have to check it out on our YouTube Qso-Vlog video. And as we come together for another Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net, let us pause just a moment for the amateur radio operator's prayer. Lord, we pray for clear 20 over S9 communications today. Let all our transmissions fill the air and reach their destinations QSA5 to be understood by all. And as we pray for good radio conditions, let us also pray for good human conditions. During this time of pandemic that has challenged us all, we pray that you'll protect everyone, especially our elderly. And also, Lord, we seek your divine intervention to bring peace to a very divided United States. As we go through a very conflicting time in America's history, with dark clouds all around, we pray that you'll reduce life's daily political QRM between our brothers and sisters. And through your love and guidance, show us the way to find peace and harmony. Help us to communicate with one another 20 over S9. Thank you, Lord, and God bless and protect America. Amen. To continue, since this part of the band has many nets trying to operate in a very confined area, I would appreciate all stations checking into our Qso-Vlog net to keep their band pass to no wider than 100 to 2900. And again, please, no wider than 100 to 2900. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network. And now let's check in and see if Charlie, K1GZL, is on frequency to bring us up to date on the latest 40-meter band propagation. Charlie's QTH is up north in northern New Hampshire, near the Canadian border. Charlie, got a copy?
Near the Canadian border. Charlie, got a copy?
Yes, Jim, very, very solid Q5. They're peaking a little over S9 direct, as I do not have the capability of the SDR. And it's a beautiful sunny day, 49 degrees outside, and 95% of the leaves on the trees are gone, and the other 50% are the fir and balsam fir and the boreal forest zone which we live in. I wonder how well you're copying. I would imagine Milford would be better. KC9VKV, K1GZL.
Roger, Roger. Charlie, I'm copying you 30 over on Milford, Roger.
Roger. Charlie, I'm copying you 30 over on Milford, Roger.
Okay, thank you very, very much for that report from Milford, Northeast Pennsylvania. I've got a bit of Captain Mike on here, and a little bit of him on the ground in Sacramento, California. Of course, that is the capital of California, northeast of San Francisco. Here it is. I hope this is working. I've had trouble with this thing.
35, 40 miles northeast of Scottsbluff,
Nebraska.
Scottsbluff, Nebraska at 37,000 here with about 1,280 miles to go. ETA into Philly is just before 2 o'clock, so about 1:55 your time. And we are showing minus 59 degrees, nice and cool up here today.
Minus 70 Fahrenheit.
Whiskey Charlie.
Minus 70 Fahrenheit.
Exactly 38 miles east of Fort Wayne, Indiana at the moment at 37,000, Charlie. And you came up a little bit. You're about a 5.2. That was a Q5. So
40.
I hear you now, but nothing like I was on 20 meters. K1GZL from K4 Whiskey Charlie.
40 meters there.
I'm behind you there, Charlie. It's like the gods cleared the air for us here. We were in a lot of in a big layer of clouds up here, and it was just really heavy static. And just before you came on, it cleared up. It looks like it's going to pick up again, possibly here in about another 60 miles. And then Saturday we'll turn around and head back to California again. So we're still a go there for Friday. K1G KX4, this is Charlie. Charlie, yeah, we just got in under tow here, and we're facing east. I wonder when we turn north if you'll notice a difference. But right now we're facing east on the tarmac. Lots of daylight left, so definitely a big difference than it was a few months ago. But good copy on you there, Charlie. We're on the ground here in Sacramento, 20 meters. Nice to work you on 20. I heard you on 160.
Okay, there we are. That ended on Sacramento, California there. So, back to you there, Jim. KC9VKV, K1GZL.
Roger, Charlie. Was I under the impression that Captain Mike was thinking that maybe the static he was getting was being caused by some cloud formations? Was that a Roger? Being caused by some cloud formations? Was that a Roger?
Oh, yeah, Roger. He was going through some cirrus clouds up at about 35,000 feet, and sometimes they can create their own static as they fly directly through those high thin clouds. Go ahead.
Roger. So that would be something that he would experience as he passed through the clouds, as opposed to getting that radiation pattern off the clouds before he was actually in the clouds, Roger? Radiation pattern off the clouds before he was actually in the clouds, Roger?
Well, it's both. It's really both, because if you have disturbed conditions out in front of you, for instance, if you have vertical buildup of thunderstorms, you will get a lot of static, and they try to fly around a thunderstorm. They will circulate around a storm. However, just the cloud itself, up at 33, 35, 37,000 feet, that itself, just the cloud itself, there may be just enough to create a lot of static, a lot of Queen Roger and Nancy, and that he has to wait until he breaks out of it. Quite often they fly over those cirrus clouds. They fly over the top of those, and yet he still will get some of the static. However, when he goes through it, I assume that it's the moisture hitting the plane itself from the cloud which he is flying through. The moisture itself will create static on itself, on its own. Go ahead.
Roger that. Well, I wonder how high can he fly over those thunderstorms? I think he is normally flying at 35,000 feet. What's the upper limit that he can go to? At 35,000 feet. What's the upper limit that he can go to?
Well, normally when he runs between Sacramento, California, and Philadelphia, and vice versa, their normal height that they run is 39,000. Now, when they have a heavy load, of course, he carries cargo. And that can be quite weighty when the plane is absolutely loaded with cargo. He then flies at a bit of a lower altitude. They have to fly at a lower altitude, so you might find them down at 32, 34,000 when they're absolutely loaded. However, when he was briefly flying from Miami, Florida, down into the Caribbean, when I worked him down there, at times he was at 40,000 feet, and then at 40,000 feet, Captain Mike was telling me that is above where you get a trail behind the plane, a moisture plane, behind the plane, You normally don't get that high. I think about 37 or 8,000 feet. Once you get above 38,000 feet, you have no trail behind the plane. Go ahead.
Roger, Charlie. Well, you'll be interested to know that you hit 40 over during that last conversation, aren't you?
40 over during that last conversation, aren't you?
Oh, well, thank you very, very much. Well, of course, the sun is setting a lot earlier, and the band will peak up a little more. Peak up a little more, but it won't be too many hours from now, an hour, 2 or 3, that the band will skip over Milford and increase out your way into southern Indiana near Louisville, Kentucky. I'm trying to work on this antenna, and in the next couple days I'll be trying to work a little bit on my 40-meter quad, there, and see what happens, but it will take a little longer before I can get the reflector part of it up. So if by next week, if I'm lucky, I might be able to get on, but I'll be kind of limited, but it may be a better antenna than this. You get out down into southern Indiana, I should be a lot better than I am right now. However, in Milford, that's another question mark. It might be the same on the close and skip, Jim. Well, look, I won't hold you any longer. I don't want to overdo this, so to speak. And we'll try to catch you next right deep, testing for modulation purposes. KC9VKV, K1GZL.
Roger, Charlie. Will you hit zero level on that little test there? Let me say 73s if that way. Always a pleasure, and thanks for dropping by. Have yourself a great afternoon, beautiful weekend, and maybe, hopefully we'll be able to join each other next Friday, and, we can work that antenna just like you're doing now. And I want you to be very careful on that ladder situation. If you could, boy, it would really be great if you could get some local help, to do that ladder climbing stuff, because it's no joke there for sure. 73, Charlie. We'll catch you later. Have a great afternoon. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. My name is Jim, KC9VKV, and just a reminder, some folks call us Dr. VKV, and we are on the air, usually on 7188, but we did have some folks that were already on 7188, so we moved down to 7185 for this afternoon, and we will be recording now live till 5. So if you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Here is November 1, London, Quebec, N1LQ, Jim.
LQ station, come back slowly phonetically with your call sign.
November 1, London, Quebec, N1LQ.
Roger, LQ, and what's the name there?
KW3DVX, Whiskey 3 Delta Victor X-ray.
X-ray station standby. LQ, what's the name there?
Quebec.
X-ray station standby. LQ, what's the name there?
Did you call LQ, Jim?
Yes, sir. LQ, what's the name there?
Yes, sir. LQ, what's the name there?
Hello, Jim. This is November 1, Lima, Quebec. My name is David, and I'm 20 miles north of Boston, Massachusetts, copying you and down today between a 5 and 7 and a 5 and 9. Over.
Roger, I'm copying you up on Milford there. Looks to be about 15 over. Excellent signal. What radio are you running today, David?
15 over. Excellent signal. What radio are you running today, David?
Okay, Jim. I'm running a TS890, TS890, and we're running that at 100 watts. And we are switching between an N-fed half-wave and a Carolina Windham. I also wanted to acknowledge Charlie, K1GZL up in the Clarksville area in New Hampshire. I first heard and worked Charlie long ago after he had an article written about him in either Ham Radio or Ham Radio Horizons, two magazines long ago defunct. But the article was called Charlie's Angles, and it was all about his wire antenna farm. So it's lovely to hear him on and still hear him active. Back to you, N1LQ. Back to you, Jim.
Yes, sir, LQ. I don't know if you've ever had a chance to check out his QRZ page, but it does look like a harbor. There are many masts coming up there, and it looks just like a boat harbor, but they're all antennas, Roger.
Coming up there, and it looks just like a boat harbor, but they're all antennas, Roger.
Roger, I've seen photographs of it over the years, and it is probably the most ambitious wire antenna installation I've ever seen. And being a wire antenna guy here, but with much simpler antennas, I appreciate it greatly. So we're running a TS-890 barefoot here, Jim, and I can give you the particulars on the audio if you wish.
Looking at your audio, you have a 3 dB dynamic curve. Your EQ curve is very nice, very intelligible. Not a bunch in the bottom end, but I don't hold with a bunch in the bottom end necessarily, because there's a lot can go wrong with the top end. And if you've got a bunch of bottom end, then if you lose your top by Mother Nature's phasing or whatever, then you become Mr. Mumble. So I like a little moderate bottom end, but a nice bright top end, and you have that in your curve. Now, you were talking about another antenna. Did you want to do an antenna AV?
You were talking about another antenna. Did you want to do an antenna AV?
No, I just am switching between a Carolina Windham and an end-fed halfway for you, and you peak and dip on both of them, so there isn't one that's preferable for our contact. Very quickly, my audio setup, Jim. ALC is running slightly over 50%. Microphone is running slightly over 1/2 range. Speech processing is on at about 6 dB gain. My EQ in the Kenwood is off. It's flat, which is preferable for my voice, I believe, because I have a higher pitched voice. And my bandwidth is 100 to 2900 as you request. So I've tried to set it up in advance pretty much, I think, the way you would prefer. KC9VKV and 1LQ, back to you.
Roger, it certainly sounds like everything is exactly where it should be. It just sounds like a very nice signal, and like I say, I'm copying you on Milford at about 15 over. I haven't checked my local antenna, but if you wanted to tell me the best thing you like about your radio, I'll see how you're doing on my local antenna, Roger.
Roger. Video back in May from the original owner, and I've been using it off and on. It is a complicated rig. It's one that requires some study, both of the manual as well as I have a nifty mini manual here. But it has an excellent receiver, and I do get pretty decent transmit audio reports. It's also a very refined radio on Charlie Whiskey, so it's a lot of fun to use. I don't think I would have bought it new, Jim, because it's very pricey now. But the gentleman who owned it for about a year went into a flex radio, and I got it for a pretty decent price. So I have that here along with several others and enjoy swapping between them from week to week. So that's the rundown on the station here. We have never had a rotatable antenna, and we have never had a linear, but I've worked an awful lot of great DX over the years. KC9VKV from N1LQ. Back to you, Jim.
Roger, David. Well, really nice sound there. Like I say, you're 15 over on my Milford PASDR. Just a beautiful signal, no phasing, just constantly there. So it really sounds good. And so I'd say get the Gorilla Tape out and taper it down, sir. You've got it going on. And if you want to hear your radio, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, that will take you to our YouTube KC9VKV Qso-Vlog page, where we're currently featuring over 2,300 Qso-Vlogs. This will be cut number 1 in that series, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. Roger?
1 in that series, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. Roger?
Yeah, Roger, Jim. Very, very fine. You helped me with another rig last week. I had a Bulgarian transceiver called an RGO-1, R-G-O-O-N-E, and you helped me tame down the audio on that a little bit. And since I have been getting really great reports, so your commentary and suggestions were implemented, and it's worked out very well. So we'll look forward to hearing this. I've not heard it recorded before, so tomorrow it'll be a treat to hear it. And I thank you very, very much for this service. It is greatly, greatly appreciated here. 73 for now, Jim, and we'll talk to you again soon in another week. KC9VKV from N1LQ, 73, and thanks.
Roger, Roger, David, 73 up that way. We're catching just a little bit of trash off 7188, but that's the way it is from time to time. So 73, David, and have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. If you get a chance, join us next Friday. We'll either be on 7188 or 7185 or somewhere in there. 73. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. There was another station in there with an X in the call sign. That other station, if you're still around, give me your call sign slowly phonetically.
Station, if you're still around, give me your call sign slowly phonetically.
Whiskey 3, Delta Victor X-ray. Go ahead.
Delta Victor X-ray, Roger, and what's the name there?
Delta Victor X-ray, Roger, and what's the name there?
This is Alan. Handle is Alan, and I wrote you an email about a week ago. Go ahead.
Is that A-L-A-N?
Is that A-L-A-N?
That's Roger.
Roger, Roger, Alan. I remember that. And what radio are you running today, sir?
Roger, Alan. I remember that. And what radio are you running today, sir?
Today I'm running my new K4, at least new to me anyway, and running at 100 watts. Go ahead.
Yes, sir, Alan. And what's your location, sir?
Yes, sir, Alan. And what's your location, sir?
QTH is Williamsport, Pennsylvania, the home of the Little League, right in north central Pennsylvania.
Roger, okay, I'm copying you fairly well on the Milford PA SDR. If you would like, maybe give me a little bit, about 10 seconds or so, about your antenna system. Let me look around and see if I can find a better path for us.
Antenna system. Let me look around and see if I can find a better path for us.
Okay, well, I've got two antennas here in the shop, and actually doing diversity on receive here, which is do that with a receiver. So K4 lets me do all kinds of tricks that I don't know how to do yet. So that's what I'm calling about, to get the audio double checked, make sure that it's at least sounding decent anyway. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Found you also on Arlington, and the thing about Arlington is that it has a fairly low-end capability over a lot of the SDRs. A lot of these SDRs are rolling out at about 250 cycles, and I think Arlington is down there to 100 cycles or so. It sounds like it, as opposed to the other SDRs. So I'm copying you there. You look fairly broad, down to the bottom end. I might use just a little more top for balance, maybe a couple of clicks, top end EQ, depending on what your type of EQ is. Is that a 3-band or 8-band, or how does that go?
Is that a 3-band or 8-band, or how does that go? Well, what I'm using right at the moment is my liquid voice, and that's I'm about a couple inches away from the mic. I've got 10 dB amplification going into the radio. That is, the radio is giving me 10 dB plus on the microphone, and I have attenuation on the low end, and my equalizer steps upwards to about max of 16 plus. At
3,200, and then it's kind of linear, sort of linear, stepwise linear, going from 100 hertz up to 3,200. That's what the equalizer looks like, and of course, electro voice is pretty broad in itself, and that's kind of what I was looking for, actually. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Sounds pretty good. I would go with it. Usually, though, I suggest that everything from 400 cycles to 1.6K be flat. Flat everything from 400 cycles to 1.6K. And the ideal cut boost frequency on the top end, the treble end, is 2.7. 2.7K is the ideal frequency for boost, and if you have a shape capability, it would be at a 4. At a 4 at 2.7 is just the ideal frequency to boost. Roger?
2.7 is just the ideal frequency to boost. Roger?
Yeah, well, I can, I've got between 400 and 1600, I've got, I can, the 400 and 800 are both set at 0 dB, and the 1200 and 1600 range at +9 and +12 respectively. Now, let me just go ahead and give you a tad more boost here. There's 20 dB boost on the whole works, so I'm hitting with 20 dB rather than 10 dB. How's that sound? Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Well, your dynamic range went to about 2.5 dB, which is, a good range there. It's nice and full. I didn't see any distortion. I didn't hear any distortion, and just got louder. Apparent loudness. Now, it didn't actually. I've got your level set at 0 level on a VU meter, and even though you boosted that 10 dB, it didn't raise the peaks. So your limiter is keeping that down and just making it fatter. Roger?
So your limiter is keeping that down and just making it fatter. Roger?
Okay. The compression set at 25, which was recommended as being what to set the K4 at, and it looks as though my ALC is about to a 5, which is, I think, where I'm supposed to be with this thing to push about as far as I can go. Now, while I'm talking, I can go from 25 up to, say, let's go to 50 on compression. See what the difference might be from your standpoint. Back to 25 again, and here we are at 25 compression. Did you notice any difference?
I'm getting quite a bit of sideband QRM from 7188, I think. I haven't pinpointed it, but I think it's coming down from the top, and it is a lot of trash, frankly. But we're trying to get through it, and so from time to time your signal drops down just a little bit, and then the trash takes over. So I'm kind of battling a thing there, but it sounds good in all ranges. Even when you went +10 over, when you went to 20. +10 over 10, you were still clean. There was no obvious distortion. So, gosh, you might compromise that and just run it at 5 over 10,
You might compromise that and just run it at 5 over 10,
Okay, well, when I don't have a choice for anything other than 0, +10 or +20 dB, and if I could just go for 0, I have to be too close to the mic, and but 10 seemed to be a compromise. But if I can get by with 20 and I punch through whatever it is that's out there, this is a good thing. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. The thing would be probably not to take a long pause, because I have a feeling that there would be some suck-up in there, and as long as you continue your speech pattern the way you have been, there's no problem between suck-up between words. But if you were to take about a 3 or 4 second pause, I'm sure things would come rushing up. Roger?
3 or 4 second pause. I'm sure things would come rushing up. Roger?
Well, I can pause for a moment right here. Waiting. Okay, I'm done waiting. And 7188, by the way, is looking on my pin adapter here, is really, really strong relative to you, and I'm not having a bit of trouble copying you whatsoever. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Well, that's good. And that difference in signal strength, it's just it's fine the way you were. I wouldn't change a thing there. Just the thing is, sometimes when you start getting into that 2 dB dynamic range, you're right into blur. You can go 2.5. I usually suggest 3 dB dynamic range, and that keeps you well out of any blurring sound of your words. Like I say, that FYI, that 7610, we've experimented with that, and it has a drive capability, and that drive capability is apparently like an audio additional processing, and usually it comes stock 50, set at 50, and we usually bring it up to 65, but we have played with it on up to 75, 85, 95, 100. And what happens at 100 is the dynamic range has shrunken to about a half a dB. So as I'm looking at modulation on my VU meter, instead of the meter bouncing around like you would normally have to some degree, at a half a dB of dynamic range, the meter just quivers. It's kind of like looking at a plate voltmeter, Roger.
The meter just quivers. It's kind of like looking at a plate voltmeter, Roger.
Yeah, okay, well, as far as so good, as long as I know this radio's sounding halfway presentable and getting through with clarity, one more aspect of the big board that I'm learning about, and this is whether I know what I'm doing before I get totally confused in the whole matter. But this is a most mighty steep learning curve on the K4, but it's turning out to be a mighty fine radio for me. Go ahead.
Yes, that was a beautiful transmission. You were in the clear most of the time, so I could really hear your audio very well, and it's just perfect. Get the Gorilla Tape and tape it down like it is, Roger.
And it's just perfect. Get the Gorilla Tape and tape it down like it is, Roger.
Okay, well, there you go. I'm delighted that I had a chance to get through to you so soon this afternoon. And Jim, I really do appreciate your being here. And I just chanced upon you last week, and I heard what was going on. And I said, gee whiz, I got to get in on this thing. And 5 o'clock rolled around, and you said good night. And I said, whoopsie, I ran out of time. But many thanks for being here, and thanks for the good work you're doing. I'm sure it's appreciated all around by lots of folks who might be listening in, and I, for one, being a beneficiary of your capability and your good intentions here, you've succeeded at it, and I truly do appreciate it. Many thanks, Jim. KC9VKV, Whiskey 3, Delta Victor X-Ray.
Roger, Alan. Thank you, sir. 73 to you. And again, if you want to hear your audio, go to YouTube, do that, call it a search, KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook on a YouTube search. Will take you to this recording. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 2,300 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. So 73, sir. And if you get a chance, join us next Friday. We'll be in the area, either 7188 or 7185. Depending on our luck. 73, sir. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Kilo Charlie 8 Lima Alpha.
That's Kilo Charlie 8 Lima Alpha. Is that a Roger?
That's Kilo Charlie 8 Lima Alpha. Is that a Roger?
Roger. The name here is Glenn, Golf Lima Echo November. This is my RV station.
Yes, sir. And what radio are you running, Glenn?
Yes, sir. And what radio are you running, Glenn?
This is a Yaesu FT891, and right now I'm located in Bull Run, Virginia.
Roger that, Glenn. Well, let's see. Why don't you tell me about that antenna system on your RV, and let me look around and see if I can find a better path for us, Roger.
RV, let me look around and see if I can find a better path for us, Roger.
Okay, well, I'm running an antenna that's called an Eagle 1. Basically an inset configure, and it'll tune 6 does a halfway decent job most of the time there. Is that enough time there for you?
Yes, sir. I found you on my local antenna on my my 134 degree 10-foot vertical magnetic loop. And looking at your audio, it does look a little not processed as much as we could get you fatter. And that involves, first thing, checking to be sure that you're in that 100 to 2900 transmit bandpass. 100 to 2900 transmit bandpass, if you're familiar with it. If not, just make a note to check that out later, because that will give you the best performance for your radio. That's the 100 to 2900 bandpass. Roger?
Well, I actually thought it was set there. It's set there now. I must have been doing some de-Xing. I run it up to 400 to 26. Try to pinch it a little bit to get through some pileups and stuff. So how's it sounding now? I'm at 100 to 29 now.
Yes, sir, Glenn, a lot better on the top end, sir. And that's what happens when you go to those lesser settings. The first thing that happens is that you lose the top end. And you can't really hardly make that up in EQ, because that's a pretty sharp curve for roll-off, and it's hard to make that difference up on EQ. Whereas, if you run in the 100 to 2900, you can shape the bottom end a lot easier by rolling off, some of that if you need to. But now that we got you in that full bandpass, why don't you tell me the best thing you like about your radio in about 10 seconds, and let me listen to your audio again.
Okay, well, the best thing I like about it is portable. It's a full power radio. I like about it is portable. It's a full power radio. It goes well with the RV and seems to work well in it.
Yes, sir. Okay. What I would like for you to do is just check a couple of things. First thing is on the compressor. We suggest on at a 3. Compressor on at a 3. It's something that you'll never hear on the air, but it helps us in that fatness area. So compressor on at a 3 for beginning our setup procedure.
So compressor on at a 3 for beginning our setup procedure.
This is KC9VKV. Glenn, you still there?
This is KC9VKV. Glenn, you still there?
Question is all there before.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry, we doubled there just a little bit. Yeah, we suggest a 3. It's something you'll never really hear on the air, but it helps us on our dynamic range at the end of our setup procedure. So, compression on at a 3, Roger?
At the end of our setup procedure. So, compression on at a 3, Roger?
And that's where it's setting now.
Yes, sir. Okay, now go to your ALC with mic gain in hand. And as you say the magic word, audio, and just say it. Don't stress it, but just say it as you would say any other word in a QSO, and use your voice as a setup tone for your ALC meter to run it to 2/3 and adjust your mic level until your ALC is at the 2/3 mark by when you say the word audio, stretching it out.
Mark by when you say the word audio, stretching it out.
Okay, I'm going to look at how to adjust that. ALC meter's on. I'm going to see if I can see what it's doing here.
Yes, so the adjustment is your mic gain control. With your mic gain control, as you say audio, adjust your mic gain until your ALC meter is showing 2/3.
Adjust your mic gain until your ALC meter is showing 2/3.
Well, I'm sorry, it's taking me. It's in the menu system, and it's in the menu system, and I haven't been in here in a while.
Yes, sir, Glenn. Is it just finding the ALC meter, or your adjustment to not calibrate, but to set that level is your mic gain? Your mic gain will, as you say the word audio, just adjust your mic gain until your ALC is running 2/3, Roger.
Just adjust your mic gain until your ALC is running 2/3, Roger.
Roger, Roger. That's in the menu here, so I got to find it. Go ahead with whoever said he knows the menu number.
There's another station in there. Other station. What was that?
There's another station in there. Other station. What was that?
Hey, Jim, yes, the menu number for his mic gain setting is 1607 is single sideband mic gain.
1607. Is that a Roger?
1607. Is that a Roger?
Roger, Roger.
Okay, I found it. And what do you want me to do? What word do you want me to say while I'm adjusting it there?
Yes, sir, Glenn. The word is audio, and stretch it out. Audio, and make yourself a human test tone, and adjust your mic gain until your ALC is running 2/3, Roger. And just say the word, don't stress it.
Until your ALC is running 2/3, Roger. And just say the word, don't stress it.
Audio. Well, that I can't change it all at the same time because it's in the menu, and I can't change the menu and see the meter at the same time.
All right. What's your mic level setting right at the moment?
All right. What's your mic level setting right at the moment?
I have it set on 30.
All right, station that's tuning up, please go somewhere else. This is a frequency that is in use, and it's not nice to tune up on an active frequency. Really not nice. Take it 5 clicks one way or the other, please. And Glenn, did you say your mic gain was 30?
And Glenn, did you say your mic gain was 30?
That's where it's sitting at now. When I first started talking to you, it was 50.
All right, take it to 40. Take it to 40 and tell me about your antenna system for about 10 seconds. We don't necessarily need the meter. Just give me about 10 seconds. Tell me about your antenna system and move your audio gain up to a 40. And let me hear you, Roger.
And move your audio gain up to a 40. And let me hear you, Roger.
Okay, there it's set on 40. Like I said before, it's basically an input attached to the ladder on the back of the RV here. We're using the frame of the RV as the counterpoise, so that's the whole antenna system there. Over.
Yes, I think that's just fine. Now, can you go to your EQ page? Are you familiar with where that is, Roger? Your audio ballistically now is very good at that 40. I would run it at 40, but you need a little more top end. So if you would, we'll go to your EQ page, Roger.
Okay, the EQ1 is set on 200 with a level of -5. With a level of -5 with a boost of 2.
All right, what's your top end? Is that a 3-band EQ?
All right, what's your top end? Is that a 3-band EQ?
Yes, it is.
All right, on your treble EQ, do you have a parametric or is that a fixed EQ point?
Do you have a parametric or is that a fixed EQ point?
It's parametric. There's 3 adjustments for each portion of it.
Station tuning, please. This is an active frequency. Station tuning, please. This is an active frequency. If you would take it plus 5 clicks up or down, I would appreciate that. All right, Glenn, so the ideal frequency is 2.7K. So if you can get your top-end treble EQ and make it 2.7K. Roger, Roger?
And make it 2.7K. Roger, Roger?
I come back with that last?
Okay, where it's a plus of 8 and a boost of 2, I think.
All right, that's a 2.7. Now, do you have control over the width? Can you make that a 4 width? 2.7K at a 4 width? At a 4 width, and we want to go plus 2 clicks additional from where you are right at the moment, if you can. Plus 2 clicks additional boost on that EQ of 2.7K with a width of 4, plus 2 from where you are at the moment.
Okay, that's the level there. That's the level there. Would you want me to boost the bandwidth to, you say, or no?
2.7 at a 4K bandwidth. I'm sorry, at a 4 bandwidth. A number 4 bandwidth, if you can make that adjustment.
4 bandwidth. A number 4 bandwidth, if you can make that adjustment.
A 4 helps a little bit below that and a little bit above that, so that's the beautiful thing about a 4 width, Roger.
That and a little bit above that, so that's the beautiful thing about a 4 width, Roger.
Okay, the level on that is 5, and the puppy is going wild here. Sorry about that.
The trash got you there. Trash got you, Glenn. Try one more time on that last transmission.
Trash got you, Glenn. Try one more time on that last transmission.
Okay, this 4 bandwidth.
Okay, you are the 4 bandwidth. Roger, Roger.
Roger, Roger.
Yes, sir. Okay, and what is your total plus at the moment on 2.7?
Okay, the 2.7 is my frequency. The level is 5, and the bandwidth is 4.
Yes, sir. And do you have a 10 capability on that control? I mean, can you boost it plus 10? Right now, I want to go maybe another 2 clicks more top end from where you are at the moment.
Okay, so you want my bandwidth up 2?
No, leave your bandwidth at 4.
So you want the level at...
The level at 2 clicks above where you were. Or where you are.
Okay, there's 2 more.
Alrighty, and what I would like for you to do now is tell me the best thing you like about your radio for about 10 seconds, Roger.
Well, the best thing I like about my radio is...
10 seconds, Roger.
Well, the best thing I like about my radio is it's portable, works well in the RV, and I needed a little help with my EQ here. Made a lot of contacts from the RV, so it's really a pretty good little radio.
Yes, sir. I think that's just beautiful. I would get the Gorilla Tape out and taper down, sir. Roger, Roger.
That's just beautiful. I would get the Gorilla Tape out and taper down, sir. Roger, Roger.
Okay, well, thanks for your help. I thought I had it fairly close, but you helped quite a bit there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I think you'll like your recording when the garbage isn't in there. Roger, Roger.
Yes, sir. And I think you'll like your recording when the garbage isn't in there. Roger, Roger.
Roger, Roger. I thank you. It's the first time I've heard you. Thanks for the service there.
Roger, Roger, Glenn. 73, sir, and we will have this uploaded to YouTube by noon tomorrow. So if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, that will take you to this recording. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 2,300 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings. And again, we'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. Roger, Roger?
Recordings, and again, we'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. Roger, Roger?
Roger, Roger. Thank you. We'll say 73, and maybe if I'm around, I can hear you next week and see what we're doing. KC9VKV, KC8LA, 73. Thanks.
Roger, Roger, Glenn. And for that last transmission, I flipped over to the Arlington SDR, and it's got a very good low-frequency response, so you can hear pretty accurately what your audio was on that last transmission from Arlington SDR. 73, sir, and have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog Net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Net.
If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Kilo November, Victor, number 3, Foxtrot Lima Kilo.
Station ending in Kilo, come back slowly phonetically with your call sign.
Station ending in Kilo, come back slowly phonetically with your call sign.
Victor Echo number 3, Foxtrot Lima Kilo.
Foxtrot Lima Kilo, Roger, Roger. And what's the name there?
Foxtrot Lima Kilo, Roger, Roger. And what's the name there?
The name is Dan, Delta America, Norway. Go ahead.
Yes, sir, Dan. And whereabouts are you located, sir?
Yes, sir, Dan. And whereabouts are you located, sir?
Okay, we're located in London, Ontario, which is halfway between Detroit, Michigan, and Buffalo, New York.
So would it be in New York or Buffalo? Or in New York or where?
In New York or Buffalo? In New York or where?
No, I'm in London, Ontario. London, Ontario, which is halfway between the two cities.
Yes, sir, Ontario. Roger, Roger. And what radio are you running, sir?
Yes, sir, Ontario. Roger, Roger. And what radio are you running, sir?
Just picked up an IC705, so looking for some constructive comments, anything you may have to offer. Go ahead.
All righty, Dan. First thing, let's try to get a better situation as far as recording and noise. So if you would, why don't you give me about 10 seconds and now about your antenna system, and I'll look around and see if I can find a better path for us, Roger.
Your antenna system, and I'll look around and see if I can find a better path for us, Roger.
Okay, very good. And kind of off about maybe 40 feet, I guess, give or take. It works quite well in my location. Hopefully that's long enough for you to do what you got to do. DE3, Foxtrot Lima Kilo.
All right, Dan, I've got you on my local dipole antenna. Not great. You're about five clicks over my noise level, but I think we can work. If you can copy me. Thing is, we want to get your audio a little fatter. The first thing to consider is that you're in that 100 to 2900 bandpass, transmit bandpass mode, 100 to 2900. And if you're not familiar with that, just make a note to check on that later, that you're in that 100 to 2900 transmit bandpass mode. Roger?
But I don't know where in the manual I'll find it. I don't know to go ahead.
Roger, Roger. Well, you know, that's the thing about the book there. Usually is at some point it would be calling maybe the TBC, transmit bandpass, or whatever, but it should be in the book. Anyway, just to check that, just to be sure we're getting the best performance out of your transmitter as possible. And that occurs at the 100 to 2900 transmit bandpass mode. All right, so our setup procedure begins with your compressor engaged at a 3. It's a token amount, something you'll never really hear on the air, but it helps us arrive at our dynamic range of 3 dB at the end of our setup. So it's compressor on at a 3. Roger, Roger.
Okay, very good. Well, I was listening to the other Okay, very good. Well, I was listening to the other conversation you have, and my compressor is off, so I will turn it on and go to a level 3 or a number 3 and call you.
Yes, sir. Now, that's a 3 out of 10 or a 30 out of 100, depending on how your input to your compressor is labeled. Roger, Roger?
Depending on how your input to your compressor is labeled. Roger, Roger?
Right, okay, so it's 3 out of 10. So right now I'm on 3 with the compressor on, and it's peaking out of on a scale here around 18 to 20 dB. Go ahead.
Roger, roger. Okay, let's go to your ALC now with the mic gain in hand. And as you say the magic word audio, and just say it, don't stress it, but just say it like you would say any other word in a QSO, audio. With your mic gain, adjust your ALC to where it's running 2/3. So the word is audio, and as you stretch it out and say the word, you adjust your mic gain until your ALC is 2/3. Roger?
You adjust your mic gain until your ALC is 2/3. Roger?
Okay, very good. I'm going to have to turn it down here a bit. So, audio, 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 audio. It's kind of on the low side. It's only about 5%. Go ahead.
On your ALC, sir, and adjust your mic gain until your ALC meter is showing, 2/3, between mid-scale and 2/3. Roger, on your ALC.
Thirds. Between mid-scale and 2/3. Roger, on your ALC.
Okay, very good. That's what I've done. That's where it's kind of set as we speak. So audio, audio, audio. I think we're in the range. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Looks good. Now, I want you to tell me about your antenna system for about 10 seconds again, and let me hear your audio.
Antenna system for about 10 seconds again, and let me hear your audio.
Okay, very good. Well, the antenna system is end-fed, vertical, horizontal type of configuration, and works very, very well on most of the bands, I guess. 10 meters is on most of the bands, I guess. 10 meters is a little iffy, but don't work too much up there. So hopefully that's a long enough transmission to you to hear my audio. Go ahead. Roger. Okay, very good. Well, we'll run it this way for a while, and maybe we'll check in with you another time. The other thing I would like to try, if it's possible, is that I'm running a bit of an amplifier, running about 48 watts, and I'd like to shut it off and just run the IC705 barefoot, which is about 10 watts, and I would like to you to maybe indicate as best you can what the difference, the S level or the S meter reading may be between the amplifier on and the amplifier off. QSL?
Yes, sir. Okay, I'm getting you about 7 dB over the Milford noise level at the moment. So go ahead and, if you can, do you just have a standby switch you have to hit?
You can, do you just have a standby switch you have to hit?
Yeah, that's right. All I have to do is just turn the power off to the amplifier, and then turn up the RF power on the 705 will get me up to about 10 watts, because I'm only driving the amplifier with about around 4 watts. So if it's okay with you, I'll shut it off, and I'll just run the 705 barefoot, and you can copy.
All right, I've got your level set for 0 level, so go ahead and do that and come back changed.
Your level set for 0 level, so go ahead and do that and come back changed. We will go up to the 200 polar. We will go up to the 200 polar.
Okay, I hit the wrong button. Hopefully you copy. Okay, so I'm running the 705 barefoot. Now, where if you copy at 10 watts?
Yes, sir. I'm copying you about 3 dB less signal than where you were. About a minus 3 dB less signal than what you were on the other setup. Roger?
3 dB less signal than what you were on the other setup. Roger?
Okay, so I went from, an S7 or an S6 down into an S5, S4?
The other way. You went from a minus 7 down to about a minus 10 or so. Roger?
7 down to about a minus 10 or so. Roger?
Okay, very good. All right, I'll turn it back on, the amplifier, just to let you know what the differences may be. Just stand by.
Yes, sir. Standing by. I've got your level set at minus 2, so you should be up to a plus 0 or 1 somewhere.
Plus 0 or 1 somewhere.
Okay, there we go. We got the amplifier back on, and and hopefully you'll hear a little bit of difference at your end. Anyways, I'm not going to keep you. Thanks for all your reports and checks, and we'll get the manual out and look for the transmit bandwidth to make sure that we're in the range there, QSL.
Yes, sir, Dan. And that was a 3 dB difference between your high power and low power. 3 clicks, 3 dB. Roger, roger.
Your high power and low power. 3 clicks, 3 dB. Roger, roger.
Roger, roger. Okay, QSL, again, thanks for your help, and we may check in another day when, and maybe ask for the same kind of checks again once we find out more settings in the menu. QSL?
Yes, sir, Dan. 73, sir. Thanks for dropping by. And again, if you want to hear your audio, go to YouTube, do a call it a search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook. That will take you to this recording, and we'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. 73, sir. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Kilo Niner, Alpha Echo Echo.
Alpha Echo Echo. Roger, roger. What's the name there?
Alpha Echo Echo. Roger, roger. What's the name there?
Name here is Kent, Kilo Echo November Tango, Kent in Valparaiso, Indiana.
Roger, roger. Kent, and what radio are you on today, sir?
Roger, roger. Kent, and what radio are you on today, sir?
IC-76 Kent.
Yes, sir. Kent, say, if you would give me about 10 seconds, tell me about your antenna system, and let me see if I can get you on my local antenna. Roger, roger.
Your antenna system, and let me see if I can get you on my local antenna. Roger, roger.
Roger, roger. Head in an inverted L configuration, temporarily not high enough, but that's what it is, and it's a 4010, and I have the wire to make it an 8010, but my physical condition has not allowed me to get up and get my 80-meter wire up. Back to you.
Roger, roger, Kent. I have a beautiful signal on you on my 0-degree 10-foot vertical magnetic loop. You're looks to be about 20 over. So, man, there's a lot of garbage up north. I don't know where it's coming from exactly, but I've been dealing with it all afternoon. Just sidevent garbage. Somebody's overmod and just trash on the the excursions. Just terrible. But I can't seem to find them. They're not that hot on my local antenna, but they just tear me up on Milford. So anyway, I've got a beautiful signal on you. I've looked at your audio. You are fairly unprocessed, so we can make you fatter if you would be interested. First thing is to consider if you're in that 100 to 2900 transmit bandpass mode. I don't know if you're familiar with that. If you're not familiar with it, just take a note that you want to check to be sure that you're in that 100 to 2900 transmit bandpass mode. Roger?
I am indeed in that 100 to 2900, and on that same screen, the treble is +3 and the bass is -3, and that's all the equalizer settings I have on this radio.
Yes, sir. Well, let's go on with the setup. Setup starts with you engaging your compressor at a 3. It's a token amount, something you'll never hear on the air, but it helps us arrive at our 3 dB dynamic range at the end of the setup. So if you would, compressor on at a 3, and that's a 3 out of 10. It's a 30 out of 100. It just depends on how your compressor is labeled input-wise. Roger?
Roger, roger. Yeah, it's been a 3. I've had it a 3 now for as long as I've had this radio. So, yeah, compressor is on at a 3.
Excellent, excellent. Now move to your ALC with mic gain in hand, and as you say the magic word, which is audio, and stretch that word out, audio, and you become a human test tone. So, and we don't want you to stress the word, just say the word like you would say any other word in a QSO, and as you say that word, audio, adjust your mic gain until your ALC meter is running 2/3. Roger?
Roger, roger. Okay, here we go. Audio, 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 audio,
Okay, that's about, I would say, 2/3, somewhere in there, 2/3 of the ALC scale.
Yes, sir, and you look to be about 3 dB dynamic range, which is a nice fat signal, but your words are crystal clear. Now, what I want you to do is give me 10 seconds and tell me about the best thing you like about the radio so I can hear your audio again.
Oh, man, the best thing I like about this radio is that I've got I've got a monitor sitting up on the shelf here that I can lean back and put my feet up on the desk and I can read this screen. I've got the spectrum scope on. I've got a multifunction meter that gives me every meter that this radio has, from S meter, power meter, ALC, compression, SWR, ID, voltage, and temperature. So I can see all that just all the time when I'm on the radio. Back to you.
Show off. that 7610 is a radio that I would love to have, because the thing is, I think you're coming out on a HDMI cable that you can go right to a big screen TV, and everything moves through that HDMI cable. Is that a Roger?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, it was an old. When I got the radio, it was. I already had the monitor sitting in a closet from an old PC, and so I just got it out, hooked it up, and had the cable. Everything was perfect. So yeah, it's great.
Yes, sir, just beautiful and so sensible. I mean, just, every radio should be like that. And, I just don't know why it's not, because, the whole world moves by HDMI. Everybody's got a monitor with, or television, with an HDMI input, so it just makes good sense. Now, all right, let's get down to specifics on that 7610. You have a button called, what is that? Not jump, skip. It takes you to, what is that button? It's on your radio, and it's, gosh, I can't think of the name of it now.
Well, there's a quick button.
Yes, sir, it's a quick button. Hit quick and tell me what your readings are.
Okay.
Okay, hit quick, and that should take you to drive. And normally drive will be at 55, but we suggest 65. 65 on your drive. Roger?
Hang on just a minute. Every time I push the talk button, the quick screen disappears. So hang on just a minute. I'll see what it is. Okay, drive gain is at 50%.
Yes, sir. Take that drive up to 65. Take your drive up to 65. Roger, Roger?
Drive is 65.
All righty now, and let's see. Tell me the best thing you like about amateur radio in about 10 seconds. Roger?
Well, there's all sorts of things I like, but right now my current interest is parks on the air. I'm not an activator. I sit here and I talk to parks on the air all over the country, and even over in England, and a lot in the Dominican Republic, and so that's my current best interest. Back to you.
Yes, sir. Now, let's go to your EQ page, if you would. Yeah, I think you told me about that just a little bit earlier. And I want you to go +2 clicks additional treble EQ. +2 additional treble EQ from where you are. Roger?
Okay, I'm on right now. I'm on, treble is +3. Treble is now +5.
Alrighty, let me hear you just a little bit. But before that, let's take your bass EQ up 1 click. +1 click additional bass increase. Bass increase 1 click from where it is.
Bass is increased at 1 click.
Alrighty, and tell me something else I don't know in about 10 seconds.
Peter Rabbit is not a real person. He's just a fairy tale.
Alrighty, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to key for about 3 seconds and don't say anything. I just want to see where that compressor goes when it expands. So you come back and you'll key for 3 seconds and not say anything, and then back off your key.
Roger, roger.
Yes, sir. I saw that it's only a 1 dB increase or thereabouts, and I'm sure you saw that on your watt meter, just a little quiver down at the bottom. Not much at all, Roger?
Well, I'm not seeing my watt meter right now, so I don't know.
Yes, sir. Just a little bit. That's my way. If you were expanding a great deal, that meter would suck up between those words to like 0 level. Equal to your voice peaks if it was really, a tremendous amount of compression. And this way, it just barely wiggled there at the bottom. So it's excellent. Roger, Roger.
Roger, roger.
So I would get the Gorilla Tape out and taper down, and if you want to hear your beautiful audio, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, that will bring you to our Qso-Vlog page. This will be cut number 1 in a series of 2,300 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. Roger?
Roger, roger. I have watched your videos a little over a year ago when I was really getting into this, and probably 2 years ago now. So anyway, back to you, and if that's it, 73, KC9VKV, K9 Alpha Echo Echo.
Roger, Roger, sir, you are very loud, but crystal clear, and your level is repetitive back to the 0 point, which indicates that the limiter is functioning just perfectly, and so you're well-tuned 3 dB dynamic range, which means your average percent of peak modulation is somewhere around 80 to 85%, so just beautiful. Let me say 73 there, Kent. You have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. If you can, join us next Friday. Roger?
Roger, roger. Yeah, if I don't get caught, I have a hard time remembering stuff. I get caught up in stuff, but anyway, if I'll put you on the schedule and I'll tune you in.
Yes, sir, Kent. When somebody tells you you have beautiful audio, just think of us. I'm kidding. 73, Kent. Have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog Net. We're moving towards 5 o'clock, and we run live till 5. So if you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
I got a Kilo November or something, I think. Station, come back again slowly, phonetically with your call sign.
Station, come back again slowly, phonetically with your call sign.
Roger, Jim. This is Kilo November 4 Alpha Delta Mike. Kilo November 4 Alpha Delta Mike.
Alpha Delta Mike, Roger, Roger. I've got you poorly on Milford. What I want you to do is give me about 10 seconds, tell me about your antenna system, and let me look around and see if I can find us a better path. Roger?
System, and let me look around and see if I can find us a better path. Roger?
Roger, Jim. I'm in Georgia, Golf Alpha. Up 65 feet between 2 pine trees in my backyard. Roger?
Roger, Roger. I got you down in Georgia for sure. And what's the name there?
Roger, I got you down in Georgia for sure. And what's the name there?
Name is Reggie, Romeo Echo, Golf, India Echo. I've talked to you a few times, and I've got another radio I need you to help me set up.
All righty, nothing when you're on another one, Roger, or is this the one that you're talking on?
Nothing when you're on another one, Roger, or is this the one that you're talking on?
This one here is FT891.
All righty, FT891 looks pretty good. What I want you to do is tell me in 10 seconds or so about the best thing you like about your radio, and let me listen to you now that I can hear you well.
Best thing you like about your radio, and let me listen to you now that I can hear you well.
Roger, yeah, I just got this radio. I'm going to put it in mobile, and I want to do POTA. Yeah, I've just got it, and
I've set up a lot of stuff like you've helped me in the past, so I'm hoping I'm pretty close.
Roger. Sounds like you might be just a little too close. Let's see. If you would, why don't you back off that mic just about 2 inches to begin. Just pull back about 2 inches off that mic and let me hear you.
2 inches to begin. Just pull back about 2 inches off that mic and let me hear you.
Okay, I'm about 2 inches off.
Yes, sir. Okay, that's beautiful. Now, what I want you to do is take a note about your transmit bandpass. A lot of folks aren't familiar with that, but what we're looking for is a transmit bandpass of 100 to 2900. So if you're not familiar with that, just make a note to check to be sure you're in that transmit bandpass mode. It's 100 to 2900, and you can just make a note of that, Roger.
100 to 2900, and you can just make a note of that, Roger.
Roger that. Yeah, it's already set. 100 to 2900. Roger, roger.
Excellent, excellent. Now, what I want you to do is you're going to be using this in your mobile. Is that a Roger?
You're going to be using this in your mobile. Is that a Roger?
Yeah. Eventually, I will. I've just got it in the shack for the time being, until I get familiar with it.
All right, so make a note of where you are as far as the relationship of your voice to the microphone. I want you to run that distance right at the moment. That may shift when you get in a mobile application, but right now you're a lot cleaner running that proximity to microphone that you were last. So, our setup procedure starts with you engaging your compression at a 3 out of 10 or 30 out of 100. It just depends on how your compressor is labeled, Roger.
Out of 100. It just depends on how your compressor is labeled, Roger.
Roger, yeah, it's set at 30. Set at 30.
Yes, sir. 30 out of 100, Roger?
Yes, sir. 30 out of 100, Roger?
Roger, roger. 30 out of 100.
Roger, roger. Okay, now let's go to your ALC with mic gain in hand. And as you say the magic word, audio, and I want you to stretch that word out, but don't stress it. Just say it like you would say any other word. Just stretch it out. And as you look at your ALC meter, I want you to adjust your mic gain until your ALC meter is running 2/3. Roger?
Mic gain until your ALC meter is running 2/3. Roger?
Roger that. Let's see. Audio. Yeah, I've got the ALC meter on, but it's not bouncing. I might have something off there. I've got my mic gain set on 23. Mic gain on 23.
All right, let's just play with it for a minute. Take it up to 50. Take it up, your mic gain up to 50, and let me hear you. Roger, roger?
50. Take it up, your mic gain up to 50, and let me hear you. Roger, roger?
This is mic gain at 50, 50. Mic gain at 50.
All right, Reggie, you were correct on the first reading, wherever you were. Take it back to where you were. Roger, roger?
On the first reading, wherever you were. Take it back to where you were. Roger, roger?
Okay, I'm at 23 now.
Yes, sir. Okay, you're running about 2.5 dB dynamic range, 2.5 to 3, somewhere in there. So that means that your average percent of peak modulation is between 80 and 85%. Your words are crystal clear. So let's move to your EQ, if you would.
Crystal clear. So let's move to your EQ, if you would.
Okay, hold on just a second.
Yes, sir. We're holding on for just a second.
We're holding on for just a second.
Okay, Jim, I'm here.
Yes, sir. Okay. What kind of EQ do you have? Is that a 3-band?
Yes, sir. Okay. What kind of EQ do you have? Is that a 3-band?
Yeah, 3-band parametric. I'm at EQ3, frequency level and bandwidth.
All right, let's start with your mid-frequency. Your mid-frequency, that should be at 0 level. That should be neither cut nor boost, 0 level on your mid-frequency adjustment, Roger?
0 level on your mid-frequency adjustment, Roger?
Roger, yeah, EQ2 is set at, the level is set at 0.
Yes, sir. Okay, so then 3, is that your treble EQ?
Yes, sir. Okay, so then 3, is that your treble EQ?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. It says highs, so I'm guessing EQ3 is the treble EQ.
Yes, sir. Okay, we want to set that at 2.7. Want to set that the treble EQ at 2.7K. 2.7K, Roger?
At 2.7K. 2.7K, Roger?
Roger that. I was at 2,500. I'm at 2,700. EQ3 frequency, 2,700.
Yes, sir. Okay, now can you adjust the width of that? Can you give me a 4 width at 2.7K frequency?
A 4 width at 2.7K frequency?
Okay, this is bandwidth, was at 2, bandwidth at a 4, bandwidth at a 4.
All right, now I want you to back off that mic just a little bit. Remember, we decided to work that mic a little bit further off. Roger, Roger?
Just a little bit. Remember, we decided to work that mic a little bit further off. Roger, Roger?
Okay, this is a little bit further away, a little bit further.
Yes, sir. Now, on your EQ, what's your maximum boost capability on that treble EQ? Can you go to 10?
Boost capability on that treble EQ. Can you go to 10?
Yeah, hold on just a second. Yeah, I'm on 2 now. I can go all the way to 10.
All right, take it to 7. Take it to 7 and let me hear you.
All right, take it to 7. Take it to 7 and let me hear you.
Okay, that is EQ3, level at a 7, level at a 7.
All righty. What is your mic gain, out of curiosity?
All righty. What is your mic gain, out of curiosity?
Mic gain was 23.
Okay, take that down to 18. Take that back to 18 and let me listen to you.
Take that back to 18 and let me listen to you.
Okay, now mic gain is at 18. Mic gain is setting at 18, 1-8.
Roger, Roger. That sounds pretty good. What I want you to do is leave your ALC meter out so you can see it as you're talking over the next couple of weeks. And it'll give you something to do as you're transmitting. The idea is to develop a relationship between your voice and your ALC meter and try to keep that ALC meter in the sweet spot 2/3 just with your voice. Roger, Roger?
In the sweet spot 2/3 just with your voice. Roger, Roger?
Roger that. Yeah, I don't know why it's. I had it. It was working last night, but I was like anything else. When you need it, it don't work quite right. But yeah, I was not able to see exactly where the mic gain was peaking with the ALC meter.
Roger, I can hear you. I've got your audio up on a view meter, so I can see you ballistically, and you look to be at the correct level, so regardless of what your ALC meter says. So, in reference to that, instead of looking at your ALC meter, can you see your power output meter or your watt meter or something?
Your power output meter or your watt meter or something?
Okay, hold on just a second.
I'm just trying to find you a reference that you can talk to and look at as you're talking and try to keep a consistent level going. Roger, Roger?
And try to keep a consistent level going. Roger, Roger?
Roger that. Yeah, I'm on, I got power output, PO, power output now.
Alrighty, and is that enough meter movement to be able to, are you getting a full scale on your power output meter?
Are you getting a full scale on your power output meter?
Yeah, right now I'm talking, my microphone is about 3 to 4 inches away. The power output is bouncing up to about 100. It's 10, 20, 50, 100, and it's bouncing about up to 100.
Yes, sir, Reggie. Well, that's what you want, sir. And so be looking at that meter as you're talking. And so if you were to go to something like this, you would see that you need to get that level up to about right there. You know what I mean? So that meter gives you a reference point to try to keep it at, Roger?
So that meter gives you a reference point to try to keep it at, Roger?
Roger that, yeah. Sometimes I'm a little hard of hearing, and they tell me I tend to talk loud. So, and sometimes I tend to eat the microphone, and sometimes not, so.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So what you want to do is try to be as uniform as you can about the way you use your microphone. The proximity to microphone is very important to maintain, because if you get closer to it, there's two things that happen. Not only does your level come up, but your low frequencies come up, and that, you know, those two together sometimes can make things blurry. So ideally, you want to work that microphone at the distance that you were last, Roger?
You want to work that microphone at the distance that you were last, Roger?
Roger that, yeah. I'm at probably about 3 to 4 inches away.
Yes, sir, and you're looking good on the meter, so you're running about 3 dB dynamic range. So I would say get the duct tape out and taper down. Just remember your proximity to microphone. Keep it to just where you were, Roger?
Remember your proximity to microphone. Keep it to just where you were, Roger?
Okay, Jim. Yeah, well, I appreciate it. This is about the third radio that you've helped me with. And I'll tell you, with your audio setup, I do a lot of contests, and if I don't bust a pile up in about 2 or 3 times, I feel like something's wrong. But I can with your audio setup, I can really bust through some pretty serious pile-ups.
Roger. Now, you could be louder. I mean, you could go past 3 dB. You could go to 2 dB, 1 dB. You could go to half a dB. But the problem is that your words start to blur. When you pass 3 dB dynamic range, your words start to blur, and you actually are like shooting yourself in the foot as far as somebody being able to understand what you're saying. Roger, you're just perfect now, Roger.
Somebody being able to understand what you're saying, Roger. You're just perfect now, Roger.
Roger, Roger. Well, okay, Jim, I appreciate it, and I hope you don't mind. I run a net, and I borrowed your saying, turning into a pumpkin. I hope you don't mind that I borrowed that from you.
Now, I've got a new one now, so you can have that one. 73, Reggie, and we'll catch you later. You have a great afternoon. Beautiful weekend again if you want to hear your audio. If you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV followed by the word logbook, we'll take you to this recording. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 2,300 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. Roger?
Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. Roger?
Roger, Roger, Jim. Appreciate it. Thank you much. You take care. And 73 from Kilo November 4, Alpha Delta Mike, 73.
Roger, Roger, Reggie, 73, sir. And I see by the clock on the wall there's a dead fly. Ooh, so we got to get out of here. We've enjoyed it, and hopefully you have. And if you participated, want to hear your audio, if you go to YouTube, do that call letter search, KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook. We'll take you to this recording. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 2,300 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings, and we'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. So right now, this is KC9VKV returning the frequency back to normal amateur radio use. KC9VKV clear.
KC9VKV clear.
Hotel Tango station, come back slowly, phonetically with your call sign, please.
And come back slowly, phonetically with your call sign, please?
Yeah, I know you signed off, and I just wanted to grab you. You are 5910, and what's your program? Hotel Tango. I'm running 5 watts to an indoor vertical, and I'm in Somerville, Georgia. Over.
Roger, Roger. And give me that call sign one more time slowly, phonetically. You faded out last time. Try it again, please.
That call sign one more time slowly, phonetically. You faded out last time. Try it again, please.
Roger, it is Kilowatt 0 Hotel Tango. 0 Hotel Tango.
Roger, Roger. And what's the name there?
Roger, Roger. And what's the name there?
My name is Hunt. Hotel Uniform November Tango.
That's Hotel Uniform Nancy Tango. Is that a Roger?
That's Hotel Uniform Nancy Tango. Is that a Roger?
Roger, Roger. Hunt. And what radio are you running today, sir?
Roger, Roger. Hunt. And what radio are you running today, sir?
I'm just using a 5-watt radio, FT817, and I'm running an indoor vertical. So I'm very happy to make contact with you. Over.
Yes, sir. Hunt, FT817. Okay, I am copying you on a Georgia SDR, and you're look to be about 2 dB over their noise level at your 5 watts. Roger, Roger.
Their noise level at your 5 watts. Roger, Roger.
Yes, thank you, Jim. Thank you, thank you. I wonder if I'll be on the program. I'd like to hear my radio on the program if possible. Thanks for picking me up, and you sound wonderful as usual. K0 Hotel Tango, we will say 7-3, over.
Roger, Roger, Hunt. I've got you at the end of our recording. And so if you go to YouTube, do the call letter search, KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, will take you to this recording, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow, Roger.
To this recording, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow, Roger.
Yes, thank you so much, Jim. I know I can't do a whole lot of adjustment to my radio. It's just a small radio. I'm a very old fellow sitting in my bedroom at the dresser here. And I listen to you quite often. And thank you so much for picking me up at 7-3, and we'll look for that. Over.
Roger, Roger. That last transmission, you were 5 dB over the Georgia SDR noise level, so I got a pretty good copy on you there. So we'll say 73. And as far as your audio, you are there about 3 to 2 dB dynamic range, so you can't probably get any fatter than that. And also that your EQ curve is nice and articulated. So I think you're ideal for what you have to work with at this time. Roger?
Ideal for what you have to work with at this time. Roger?
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much, and we'll let you go. Appreciate it very much. This is Kilowatt 0 Hotel Tango. Bye-bye.
Roger, Roger, Hunt, 73, sir. You have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. And we got to get out of here again. This is KC9VKV, returning the frequency back to normal amateur radio use. Kilo Charlie 9 Victor, Kilo Victor, clear.
Kilo Charlie 9 Victor, Kilo Victor, clear.
Wouldn't that be abuse? Hey, Jim, how you doing?
Hey, bud, what's going on, sir?
Oh, there and heard you. I guess you're wrapping it up. Not that I need an audio check, but this is Floyd in South Carolina. I haven't spoke to you in a couple of months. Just wanted to say hello.
Yes, sir, Floyd. I've got you on my local dipole antenna. You're about 15 over, 20 over, sounding real good. Roger, Roger.
Roger, Roger. You as well. I'll say 73s, and you have a wonderful weekend, Jim. KJ4REZ.
Roger, Roger, Floyd. You'll be at the end of the recording there, and we'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. Go to YouTube, call it a search, KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, take you to this recording. 73, KC9VKV, clear.
All right, buddy, 73. KJ4.